Very pleased now to be joined here at Blogging the Boys by the one, the only, the legendary, the internationally famous. He is the star, I'm sure, of the next James Bond movie. He's going to have a big time week here in just a couple of days from Clemson and from TBD. Remains to be seen. Bryan Bresee. Bryan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us at Blogging the Boys.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I wanted to ask you, what is the most common way that people mispronounce your last name? Because I was really stressed about it. I practiced it out loud several times.
So many different ways. I mean, I've heard everything. Bresee, Breese, everything. So there's been a whole bunch of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, when I first read it, thought it was like Bresee. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was like, there was some sort of like whatever. But you keep people on their toes, and so I appreciate that. How has the week been going for you? We're chatting on Tuesday, and the NFL draft starts on Thursday. This is the week you've been waiting for I guess your whole life. Might be the most chill way to say it. Are you stressed? Are you nervous? Are you anxious? You calm? What's going on in your head?
I think a little bit of everything. I'm back in Maryland now, so with my family, with my friends. There's a ton of emotions. Excited, nervous, just ready for this day to come and figure out what the next chapter of my life is going to look like, and just ready to get it started. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wondering where you're going to live, like where you're going to look for a house or apartment, where like the nearest Chipotle is going to be. Like those are the things that I think about, that if I was in your shoes, what I would be wondering. And so actually, I know you're from Maryland. This is a controversial thing. What are your thoughts on the Maryland state flag? Because I feel like people from Maryland like really ride for the flag, but people outside of it are kind of like, I'm good.
I had one hanging up in my college apartment, but I might get some hate. I'm not like a diehard love the Maryland flag, but I got to represent it being from Maryland. So
it's strange. We'll just leave it at that. I don't need it on uniforms. Like I don't need it forced down my throat. You know what I mean? Like you want to have your flag, that's fine. But you don't have to shove it in everybody's faces. So that being said, this is obviously a big week and it's been a big few months and you've obviously been very focused. I like to ask people about their personal lives when I interview them. And I was looking through your social media. You're locked up pretty tight. I got to be honest with you, Bryan, you have prepared for this. You don't have anything. It's all just football this, football that. You're a professional. So that being said, do you feel like you have put in all the work on the field and off? Because this is you're about to have a job. You know what I mean? Like you're a young adult entering the workforce. It's a unique sort of workforce, but it feels, and you went to Clemson. You are not a stranger to big time stages and things like that. Do you feel like you're prepped for the NFL and all the attention that it offers?
Yeah, absolutely. Just it's been a lifelong dream of mine to play in the NFL. Like you said, playing at Clemson, I think definitely prepared me for what this next stage is going to look like. Obviously, there's going to be some changes and things I'm going to have to get used to. But I would say for the most part, I'm ready. I'm prepared. At the end of the day, regardless of all the outside stuff, it's still football, and it's what I know. So I'm excited.
What athletic changes do you think you could potentially encounter? I mean, everybody knows, just drop Bryan in the middle of that defensive line. He's going to clog things up. Not the trash can sort of defensive tackle that a lot of people like. I cover the Dallas Cowboys, and everybody wants that one tech. Just drop him in the middle, but everybody also wants that three tech. Everybody wants that Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you've seen it throughout all of the draft coverage. The Cowboys haven't taken a defensive tackle in the first round since 1991. So we're starving as far as Cowboys fans are concerned. So that being said, like, how versatile do you find your game to be? What could you do? How much weight could you put on if you had to? I mean, obviously you said it, it's still football, but wherever you land, that defensive coordinator is going to have a vision for how they want to use you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, everyone will use me different ways. From my freshman year of college till this past year, I've played everywhere from a 0 technique out to a 9 technique. So, I've been lucky to experience all those different positions and show people my versatility and really feel comfortable anywhere that whatever team drafts me wants to put me. So wherever that is, I'm experienced in it. I've played it before. And let's say when they throw me out at safety, then I wouldn't be ready for it. But anywhere on the D line, I've been there and I'm prepared for it.
A little bit of a different physical mold, but you mentioned floating back to safety. It's definitely a possibility. That is something that the number 11 on the Cowboys kind of does. Micah Parsons is that unicorn, that hybrid that nobody saw coming. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys wanted to line him up at one tech. Like, he's the dude who I think could find a way. Now, I hate the new world that we live in where Micah can wear number 11. I'm a traditionalist. Micah should be rocking like 56 in my mind. But that being said, yours is even, I'll be straight up with you, Bryan. That's gross to me. Like 11 on a defensive tackle, like that's disgusting. But would you like to wear number 11, or would you want to wear a more conventional defensive tackle number? Like, again, I have to imagine you've let yourself you see the jersey swaps that people put you in. Like, what number would you like to wear in the NFL? You want to keep it the same, or are you ready for a new chapter?
I'm fine with whatever. Honestly, I'm not too picky. So, yeah, that's not really a huge deal to me.
Well, it is to some of us, Bryan. It is to some of us. And I care a lot about numbers. I care about your sleep number. You're actually here with us on behalf of Sleep Number. I imagine you've been sleeping on a Sleep Number bed in preparation for this week. Maybe that's why you're not stressed, because you have some calm, refreshing relaxation going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Sleep Number has been a great partner. It was a great opportunity, that unfolded. And I've been lucky enough to partner with them. And like you said, just before I got a Sleep Number bed, I was sleeping on, whatever mattress was in the college apartment, and was never really realized how, how important sleep was until I got to be on a Sleep Number bed and, get the Sleep IQ app on my phone and get to look through all the different things that the bed's able to track while you're sleeping. And, I think as athletes, that makes it even more fun, like trying to be competitive when you wake up every day and better those numbers. And so that's been a really cool experience. And, I think it speaks for itself. 80% of the NFL is on a Sleep Number bed. And, there's a reason for that.
That's right. Sleep Number is the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. You mentioned it. 80% of active roster players benefit from the improved sleep performance on Sleep Number smart beds. That 80% about to bump up at the very least with you. You know what I mean? And your fellow draftees. You mentioned you have the app on your phone. Like I said, I couldn't find anything about you. What's your favorite app? What's the most used app on your phone?
This is bad, and I probably need to delete it, but TikTok.
It speaks to your generation. So like, that's your thing. Like, are you like laying in bed right before, going to sleep TikToker, or you're like sitting in line at the doctor's office TikToker? Like, cause it's also a sensitive thing. Like you need headphones. Like, I don't know. Are you blasting like the audio from your TikToks wherever you're at?
No, I would say it's more like before I go to bed, I'll go on it for a little bit. I like, right after the dinner, like that kind of time I'll go on it. But yeah, not really throughout the day, but yeah, definitely sometimes at night I might stay on it a little bit too late.
That makes sense. I always talk to NFL draft prospects, both now and before kind of this whole run up, kind of like right after the Super Bowl. And I always say, if I were you, and we've seen obviously all sorts of stories and players that have had different things happen and whatever, that's just kind of part of today's world. I say, you know what? Go work out, go home, watch Netflix. That should be your routine for like 3 months. So that being said, is there something that you have watched while you have been preparing for this week? It could be a show, it could be a movie. Maybe it's one movie. Maybe you went to the theater. Like, what is a non-football thing you've done while preparing for the NFL draft?
Yeah, I mean, I love watching movies. Going to the movie theater more. So went and saw Creed 3. My mom and dad came and visited me out where I was out training, and then that new movie Cocaine Bear came out, and my mom thought it was a good idea to book that movie that we left halfway through because it was not great.
Was the decision to leave yours or your mom's, or like a collective effort? Like what?
It was a group effort.
Yeah. I've been there. I went and saw when I was in college, one of the Saw movies with one of my roommates, and he like halfway through, he was like, "Yep, can't do this anymore. Like we just gotta like walk out of here." So Cocaine Bear is an option, I guess, for people if they want to follow your IMDb recommendations. As far as football, and we're about to get you out of here, but how much have you paid attention to the mock drafts, like people tagging you on things on social media? Like, again, I mentioned the jersey swaps. Like, do you look for that stuff? Do your family and friends send it to you? Like, or do you try your absolute hardest to put it out of sight, out of mind?
Yeah, I don't look at really any of it. I think none of that's going to obviously have an effect on who calls me on whatever day of the draft. It's going to be none of that's going to matter. So I'm just focused on what I can control. I've put in a lot of work through this offseason, and I'm looking forward to Thursday.
I will say that there are a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans who would love for you to wind up with a star on your helmet. Do you let yourself think about, like, maybe because you watch football a lot, I would imagine, obviously have had a very busy collegiate and very successful collegiate career, but do you say, like, man, it'd be pretty sick to line up next to Micah Parsons? Like, to use this example, like, do you allow yourself to, I mean, because that is going to happen. Like, it may not be Micah, but there is going to be an incredible edge rusher that you line up next to in a few months' time, as a part of the NFL. So do you let yourself kind of look at different teams and put yourself in different instances and wonder what it would be like?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely sometimes, I think about, being at the next level and playing with some of the people that I've watched while I, was growing up. But yeah, I think for the most part, instead of, trying to plug myself in all these different places, just wait to see and just get to work once I get there. So.
All right, last one for you, Bryan. Who is your favorite obscure NFL player? It's like, I don't want to hear like, oh, my favorite player is Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be honest, but like, who's an NFL player, or maybe not even NFL, but collegiate player, Clemson player, who knows, that you have been a huge fan of for one reason or another throughout your life?
I would say it was always cool watching the Fridge play. Went to Clemson,
Okay.
watching him run the ball, and I was in our goal line package at Clemson as the running back. So watching him was always pretty cool. Seeing what was he, like the first 300-pounder or something like that in the NFL. So that was pretty cool.
There's a lot of contentiousness to him, and the fact that he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl and that Walter Payton didn't, that's like a big thing. If you wind up a Bear, I'm sure you'll learn that history. That would be really, like, I'm rooting for you to wind up a Cowboy personally, but like, after talking about Cocaine Bear, that'd be a nice kind of symmetry to you winding up with the Chicago Bears. So we'll see. Bryan, get as much rest as you can. Put everything out of sight. Everything's going to take care of itself. Even though I'd love to see you in Dallas, we'll be rooting for you wherever you go. Big thanks to Sleep Number for letting you hang out here with us for a little bit, and enjoy the week.
Thank you very much.